Yeah, I think Temple showed you why they're the best team in our league. You know, when we scouted them and prepared for them, you watch them play. I don't know that they do anything great. You know, we watched them beat Connecticut twice. Connecticut was up 12 with 5 minutes to go. You say, how did Temple win that game? You know, Tulsa was up 13, I think, with 6 minutes to go. But they make timely threes, and they don't beat themselves. They don't turn it over. They make their free throws. They're just very solid. Now, the first time we beat them, that's what we did. We beat them. They didn't have a chance. They didn't have a chance in that game. We just beat them. But tonight, it was just two good teams. I mean, those were two really good teams. They came out and staggered us early. I think they went up on 13. Then, you know, during the timeouts, I thought we were in a hurry. You know, it's okay to play fast, but don't be in a hurry. But then we got settled down and got the ball moving a little bit. Cut it to 5 at halftime. And then we talked about, you know, playing to the third side. Then the ball really moved well. The first 10 minutes, I think that's when we went from down 5 to up 10. So we were up, I think we were up plus 15 in 10 minutes. But you know, they banked in a 3 there, and the next, you know, another kid drove across the lane and banked in a shot. And I don't mean that saying those were lucky shots. That's the way Temple plays. You know, they make plays. They do whatever it takes. They're just a good team. You know, I think you know, they took advantage of some matchups on us. I thought Dot did a great job on DeCosi, who was a really hard cover. Really, the only guy that hurt us was the Inchinoya kid. He made some tough threes. You know, he made a couple of them, you know, 3 or 4 feet behind the line. We got out and contested them, but he made them. But that's what they do. That's how they beat Connecticut. That's how they beat Cincinnati twice. They beat Connecticut twice, Cincinnati twice. It was almost a carbon copy. That game was almost a carbon copy of how they won all those games, you know, and so give them credit. I was proud of our kids' effort. I was proud of the way we came back and battled. Wouldn't have expected anything less. But, like, they didn't hurt themselves. They didn't beat themselves. You know, we had a couple of turnovers down the stretch. You got to get the ball to the rim. Yeah, ball's got to get to the rim. You got to give the referee a chance to blow the whistle, and that's why we play a certain way sometimes is to get the ball on the paint and drive it and get to the free throw line. Devontae went to the free throw line 11 times. Rob went to the free throw line 6 times. We needed to go a few more times.
Questions, please? So on that last three-pointer, it looked like they were going to, you know, that's where they wanted to go, but then they kicked it back up to the other.
Yeah. Well, that kid made 7. That's how they beat SMU. That same kid made 7. He was 7 for 7 against SMU when they beat him. So he's a good shooter. They don't have anybody that can't make a 3, and their stats really don't tell a story. You know, those are most of those kids are Philly kids that they got a lot of savvy. They're older. They've been around. They've been together for a long time. DeCosi, Brown, Coleman, you know, they're just a solid team. So I was proud of my team. I mean, it's a game I felt like we could win, and probably played good enough to win. You know, but they made the plays down the stretch and we didn't. Simple as that.
There were no timeouts there for you at the end.
I don't think if I'd have called timeout, couldn't have got a better shot. You're not going to get a better shot than that. I'm almost glad I didn't have a timeout because that would have allowed him to get his set. If you're going to look for a 3, it's better to get one in transition when they don't have a chance to switch. Because what would happen, he would substitute and take his bigs out and put his littles in, knowing we had to take a 3. So every time you set a screen, you're going to have to switch. You know, Rob got a clean look. I couldn't have asked for a better look. Just missed it. They made their 3s when it counted, and we didn't. But, again, that's a good team, but so is Houston. We have a good team, too.
How tough is it to kind of lose this game where, you know, you guys were up by 10 in the second half?
Yeah.
Like you said, you guys probably.
Yeah.
Good ones.
Yeah, but what is hard? It's not easy. Howard, it's not easy. That's a tough one to lose. But you watch this. Temple's. That's how they beat you. I'm sure that somebody was sitting in the press conference just like you, looking through that lens, asking Frank Haith the same question, and Kevin Ollie and Larry Brown, because all those teams were up. They don't beat themselves. Very disciplined, tough. I have a lot of respect for their team. But I have a lot of respect for my team, too. I really like my team. We have a good team. That was the number one team in the conference playing against a team that, had they won, would have been a half a game out. Not a lot of difference in those two teams, really. It's just two good teams, a good basketball game.
I think you guys missed the last 9 shots of the first half, and then you come out in the second half and completely different. Like Coach was saying earlier, just changes, adjustments. You guys
Ball
get
movement.
things going.
Yeah, like Coach said, the ball was moving. We got open shots and knocked them down to start the half out for the first 10 minutes. I just felt like that was the issue. The ball was moving. We was getting good shots. Everybody was playing unselfish.
Chris, do you think, were you guys forcing tempo in the first 10 minutes of the second half as opposed to the last?
Well, we're trying to force tempo, but that's a good team. Now, understand this about basketball. It's a lot easier to slow a team down than it is to speed them up. To speed a team up, you have to start by getting stops. And that's the first 10 minutes, the ball moved, but our defense was outstanding. We were really good defensively the first 10 minutes because all of our baskets almost were in transition, which is where we're good. Now, the last 10 minutes, they were at the free throw line. They scored. They were scoring some hard shots. Let's face it. When you try to draw a foul and just throw it up there and it banks in, we got to take that ball in bounds. That's 3 points. He misses that. We go down and score. That's a 5 or 6 point play. And all those count close in a close ball game. But they were making baskets, and they were making baskets. It takes us out of our transition game. So, but give them credit. They made the shots that counted. But that first 10 minutes at both ends of the floor, I thought we were outstanding. But we just didn't make enough baskets down the stretch. We needed another stop. We needed to get a stop when they got it down to 2. We needed to stop. Then we're up 3, and then Chenoya goes down and hits that long 3 at the top of the key. It's a big shot, but you know what? Give him credit. Kid had a good game.
Kelvin, even in a loss, by no means is this over, where you have 3 more regular season and the tournament, where you look at your team, and I don't think you guys have been out of any game in conference or regular season all year in terms of competing. You still look at this team as, you guys are still playing well at this time.
Well, absolutely. No, sometimes I say things to remind people that we have a good team. This is a good Houston basketball team. I'm not interested in, I wasn't here a long time ago, 10 years ago or 5 years ago, but I've coached enough good teams to know what one looks like. Are we a complete team? No. We don't have a guy like a Jalen Bond or something like that. But, you look at our 1, 2, 3s, and 4s. I think we match up with just about anybody in the league. We needed a couple more recruiting classes. We've had 1, not 2, 1. Don't count the first one. We've had 1 recruiting class. So we're going to get better as we go. But I love this team. We haven't played a game yet that we couldn't have won. Connecticut at home, South Florida at home, at SMU. Cincinnati was a 3-point game with 5 to go. We weren't in the last minute or 2, obviously, but there's no game we've played that we haven't had a chance to win. Tulsa game, I take that back. We weren't the Tulsa game there, that we weren't in that one.
Anything else?
Coach, Devontae had 19, Damian had 20, Rob had 20. That's 59 points between your top 3 players. What are you going to do to get the rest of your team involved so that you can win those close games?
Well, shooter's not an equal opportunity position. You know what that means? If you can't shoot, you don't get to. Those three guys are our best scorers, just like because if you were talking to Temple, you'd want to know why the other 9 guys aren't scoring, because I had one guy score 26. I'm not worried about that, you know. Every game is different in its own self, you know. Chicken had 20 against LSU. He had a tough matchup tonight. You know, this wasn't an easy game for him because they're a really good defensive team. You know, it's not Galen and Ronnie's job to lead us in scoring. Galen had five assists tonight. You know, he was 0 for 4, but all 4 shots he took were shots he can make. You know, probably if I had to draw up a perfect night for Galen and or Ronnie, I'd say, you know, 6 or 8 points, but 4 or 5 or 6 assists. Who else? LaRon, not really a scorer. Burke's not a scorer, so I don't know if I'm too worried about that. It's a good question, though.
Coach, you've mentioned all season about the growth of this team. Games like these is another part of that learning process. How much better is a plateau or elevation or mountaintop that you're looking forward to, or just as the process goes, so goes the team?
No, that's a good question. We take them as they come. You know, we felt like this was a game we needed to play well in, just like, you know, when we beat Tulsa here or beat SMU here. You know, whoever the other team, LSU, you got to play good. We didn't play good today. You know, it's not one of our better games. But let's give Temple some credit. They had a lot to do with that.